because I don't think anybody has made as large an impact in two major organizations and within that same window of time that he has, and made the kind of noise that he has. And
But cool. Let's hold on. I had the list here. We do have a lot of different stuff when it comes to the awards. I thought, well, let's just start with an easy one. And Greg, you kind of mentioned it already, but the male wrestler of the year, 2024.
Well, TA came up with that, so let him start.
Oh, TA. Okay.
well, I would have to give it to CM Punk, because I don't think anybody has made as large an impact in two major organizations and within that same window of time that he has, and made the kind of noise that he has. And really just continue to operate on a really classy level.
Mm-hmm.
The Drew McIntyre feud was just, you know, was just so epic and so, well done. And, him just continually screwing over, Drew over and over and over again. It was like, it was like watching, a comedic setup almost, because you just knew he was going to come be the spoiler, to the point where you were feeling sorry for Drew, but it was, he checked all the boxes for me. I mean, if it had been, if you want to look at it, take last year's WrestleMania, into it, certainly Cody was the baby face of all baby faces, and Roman, I mean, they set a plateau in a standard that was so high, but it was all aimed at that one show.
Yeah.
So, it's very, very focus driven. And of course they had months of build up, that happened previous to it. So, looking at how everybody fell out and worked after the fact, I don't understand exactly what's going on with Randy. I was hoping we'd see a much greater play out of Randy this year, because, I mean, he certainly, got all the chops and all the wherewithal to be engaged in whatever level anybody would want to. But as far as somebody that picked up the ball and ran with it hard after, the WrestleMania, extravaganza, I mean, Punk's knocked it out of the park for me.
Yeah, definitely. Greg, do you feel the same way, or do you have a different
one?
Yeah,
I do. I think there was about 5 people that really jumped out, but CM Punk came out on top. And I'll go with Gunther.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He made a case for him.
Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Came out of a shell there. I mean, he's never been out of his shell. I mean,
in his shell.
He's been out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he stood out. And then Uso.
Oh, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the yeet.
Yep.
I mean, he came out and Laura said, "What's that going on?" I said, "Come here and watch this." And 24,000 people. Yeah. I mean, he really caught on.
Yeah.
And you can feel the emotion of the people when he comes out. They're really into his personality. So he's another one that stood out. But, all in all, CM Punk at the top of that group.
And and that's a great case too. And the funny thing is, and I want to get your guys' follow up on this. Do you think the fact that he was injured yet for a good amount of the year, but in turn he still remained relevant, did that enhance his? Do you think his value as being a wrestler of the year because he was on the shelf but still that prominent force? Do you think that was beneficial, Magnum, to him, or do you think
100%, because you stayed vested in the comeback and the struggle and the humanity of a real injury that sidelines you, and they're so good blurring the lines and capturing people's imagination where they don't know where things step in and out of the storyline. And, did somebody really get heated? And when they, hear these interviews that are so, just going for the jugular of things, talking about, well, I may have left, but you were a kiss ass, basically. And, all those things that, people fancy themselves so smart. They're not just enjoying it like they're watching a program anymore. They think they know more than everybody else. But when they start saying, well, there's really some merit to that, then it starts entangling and weaving reality and in the fictional tale all together, and it sucks you into the story just like any good series or sitcom does. You're being entertained, but you're on the edge of your seat and you're helping fight the the bad guy off the heroine or whoever's being attacked. And we all want to be emotionally vested in something. And again, they're just doing a really great job. I imagine it's so funny, but all the things they did by like pulling back the curtain and we're gonna tell you the inner workings of the business, but yet they're doing all these things. They completely blur those lines again. And kayfabe was dead 20 years ago, yet they're using all those nuances and all those little tricks and twists and things today, like they're dancing a puppet on the end of a string.
Yeah.
So
keeping them guessing.
Mm-hmm. Keeping them guessing. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
My male wrestler of the year was who you mentioned, Greg, too, Drew McIntyre, I think, in the same reason, too, that, CM Punk was hurt for the majority of that feud, but that was still the feud of the year, I think. And
100%.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah.
And like Drew being able to carry that after Cody goes to some place onto SmackDown, he was a big reason to tune into Raw, I think, on the regular was Drew McIntyre. And, he was somebody that could have plateaued, but this, like, after the Punk getting injured and stuff like that, but he made the most, maximized those minutes and created a feud where one guy wasn't able to wrestle for like 6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think that really speaks to who he is as a persona. He got it. And to what you were saying too, Magnum, the blurring of the lines in today's realm of wrestling where everybody's aware of what's going on and stuff like that. Drew was able to do that on social media, on television, pulling from his personal life, and so much different things that I think he was just a unexpected wrestler of the year, but I think he was definitely my pick, I think, for 2020.
Yeah, I mean, the talent they have, it's hard to just pick one person.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't leave Roman Reigns out of there.
That's true, too.
You can't do it. And even the bloodline is so, he still had such an impact on everything.
Yeah.
And that whole crew did.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult, but I think we've hit it pretty well on the head between Drew and CM Punk, of course. And Cody, I mean, if it was last year, you'd have to say Cody. And he's kept that momentum going, which is hard to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that thing with him and Kevin Owens recently, that brought everything back to life for Owens.
Absolutely, it did.
And,
right?
Yeah, and then you go into the ladies, and there's some fantastic ladies.
Well, yeah, that's the next one.
Talk about the ladies later, but they've got such a well-rounded roster with so much great talent, and it's just like, is it the Minnesota Vikings or is it the Chicago Bears, or who in the Super Bowl is going to be that number one team or person that comes out?
Right.
The Super Bowl is coming up.
I know. Speaking of the Vikings, you and the Lions have a big game next week.
Oh yeah, that should be a dandy.
That's gonna be real doozy.
I tell you, I was watching those Vikings. God damn it, they got a great coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the receivers they have, I think, are the best in the NFL.
Oh, unbelievable.
it's just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun to watch them. And they play Detroit next week. We'll find out who's going to get the number 1 seed after that game. Should be interesting. It should be a heck of a game.
Yeah, holy smokes! You talk about wrestling storyline.
Get off the track here.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. The wrestling storyline is the Lions and the Vikings going.
Yeah,